Welcome back, guys. So in today's video, our plan was to try to automate as much as the assembler parts that we could before we actually moved on to the next phase. Normally what I'll end up doing is end up handcrafting all the stuff that's needed, and then I'll put the project parts through an assembler real quick, just kind of finish all that off and move on as quickly as possible. I didn't want to do this time. I wanted to kind of push the limits of the biomass burners, which means that I wanted to automate a small little factory solely using those, which required a lot of them and a lot of power. So what you're going to be seeing today is just me setting up this factory and kind of getting everything worked out so we can actually automate assembly parts before we move on to phase 2, which just feels like a really bad idea. All that being said, guys, let's get into the video. I hope you enjoy it. Alrighty, so we're back up on our platform here, and I don't think I'm going to have enough room on just this one level to put the amount of machines down that I need to. So we're probably going to have to build a second layer on top of this, which shouldn't be too much of a deal. We can kind of run it back on top of that if we need to. We'll make the room. We will find it, whatever we have to do to get it to work, we will do. We're going to start off by getting this all set up with our smelters, and then we're going to start belting everything off where it needs to go. Alright, so we got all this set up, and it already looks a little bit confusing, but this is our 120 line from our 2 miners, and this is our single 60 line from our other miners. So we have the 120 getting split right here, and then that goes down to those 2 splitters and splits into 2. Then we have this belt right in the middle that goes to here and splits, and then we have this at the end, which is our 60 line, putting it down to where it needs to go. So this is perfectly balanced, which is great. Now it's just a matter of taking the amount that we need off of this, and it's going to be set into sets of 60. So we're going to put single mergers on every other one to get down to 2 smelters a piece, and then we're going to kind of belt those off into where they need to go. Alright, so I'm already off the line. I said I was going to split these up into 2s, and that's wrong because I need 3 of these, and I was going to do it like take 2 of them and then I have this split off from the other section I was going to do because that's how I wrote it down in my notes. And I'm not doing that because that's tough. So I just took 3 of these because I need 30 a piece. This is set up with a singular merger right across to a splitter, and these will go into all of these. This will finish off our plates, and then it's just a matter of getting them to where we need it to go, which is going to be kind of the bigger problem that I'm going to have trouble once I get into the kind of the fractions of it all, but we're going to figure that out. We're going to set up these lines and leave the mergers alone for a second and focus on getting the rest of this set up, because we still have to build a lot of these constructors for the iron rods, and then a whole nother set for the screws as well. So we're going to focus on that for right now, and then we'll come back to this in a second. Alright, so at this point, things are starting to get pretty dumb. So we set up 6 of these. These are all constructors for our iron rods. This is the amount that we need. There's 6 of them. We need 60 of these to go over to screws, which are going to be over here, which is a whole nother problem because we have to figure out how to get them. I think we're going to run them this way and then have them split down into 6. And I already do not have a lot of room to split all these, so I don't know how that's going to work out. Maybe I can kind of push these forward a little bit, and that's probably what I'm going to wind up doing. It would have been nice to have them lined up with those constructors, but I don't think it's going to work out. So, you know, I always move those. I'd rather move 3 of these than 6 of them. So, we got options, but we're still trying to figure it out. This last one here is going to be ran off to our rotors, I believe, is the iron rods. So we needed 20, and we got 30, so we do have a little bit of an overflow there, which will be nice if we had overflow splitters. But we don't even have that, so we're gonna have to figure out what to do with those extra 10 other than let them pile up in machines, because I don't really like the idea of that. I think I have some ideas about it, but I'm not quite sure yet, but that's kind of down the line. Right now we're gonna figure out how to split these screws and then move on for where we need to. Alright, so we set up our screw splitters back here and our kind of mergers up in the front. It worked out pretty easy. I only needed 2 of these, so I can go down to 3, and then I just have 1 more to split into the 2 of them. This is running over here to the top of these, which is that back 4 we were talking about. I was supposed to run it the other way, but you know what, I completely forgot about it, and I might switch around if I look at this. Yeah, that's not gonna work. Maybe it will. I don't know. I'll think about that, and I'll let you know if I end up moving it. But right now that's where it's at, and then this stuff needs to run to wherever we're going up. My plan is probably going to, well, no, that's a wall. I'm going to find a good place to push it up, which I don't know where that's going to be exactly, because I'll have to probably build a spot. All the walls here are pretty much occupied with stuff. I thought about doing it in the front here, but I need 4 different sections, because I have 2 from this one, and then I have 1 over there, and then I have 1 over here, so I would need at least 4 of the conveyor lifts right here, and I don't know if I could squeeze 4 into this. They're just going to snap into each other anyway. But I don't think it really works like that because I'm planning on putting windows here, or I'm just going to change how the front looks, and I don't really know if I want to do that. So I'm going to try to figure out how I want to handle this. I might just build a one little 1x1 elevator, and I think that'll be the best way to do it. So we're going to figure that out, and I'll let you know here in a second. I can't really put the piece that I need here because I don't have it unlocked. So what I did was I put conveyor frames down. The conveyor pulls down, and then I put this basic one wall at the top and one wall at the bottom. This isn't great. It's not perfect looking, but it'll look a little bit better than just having it out in the open like that. So this is covered up. It's just a matter of putting on the roof to this to be kind of all of our assemblers and stuff up there, and kind of what we're going to do for our storage, because there's a really weird way I'm going to have to do the storage on this. It's pretty much buffer storage bins for the overflow. I just jumped off the building. All right, let me climb back up there and keep going with this video. All right, so it's been a couple days, and I am recording after work for like the first time ever in a really, really long time. So that means that I am fully awake and fully caffeinated, and I am ready to build this thing. I would like to point out that I'm so early in the game that I don't even have the inverted staircase or the inverted ramps here. So this looks like shit. Not gonna lie. So we're gonna keep moving forward. Forget about that. I built this little pathway up here. So now we can actually get up to the top layer. I ran out of concrete, so I had to go AFK for a little bit and kind of let everything build up. We're building this little platform up here. Got a nice little present on top of our base. We're going to do this nice and flat up here, and we're going to put all of our assemblers. I kind of thought about this a little bit. It's going to take a lot of sorting to get all this set up. So what we're probably going to do is like 2 more walls up, and we'll have a little floor right here just for sorting all of the logistics that is going to be kind of figuring out where these assemblers need to go to, because if I do it all in one level, it's going to be really, really messy, and I don't want to do that. So I'm going to add all this in real quick, set it up how I want, and I'll be back with an update here in a second. So as I'm going through kind of building this upper platform, I just want to talk about what my plan is for this. So originally, I had no idea, and I was just kind of placing everything to get it finished, so that way I could have some sort of automation set up before I moved on to the next stage, so I could feel like I personally accomplished something. I'm doing that still, and I'm going to finish this, and it's all going to look okay, but I wanted to kind of add some structure to this. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to push this back a little bit. This is still directly above this transfer tube right here. So that way I can have this flat top here, and I can have a little bit here. So my plan is to try to make like a little kind of arch. Just like a little bit of a kind of a shape to this, as opposed to just being one tall building. And eventually I will kind of box this in and create a building over there as well. And then we'll have a nice courtyard out here for kind of our highway and our traffic. Very similar to our big blue factory, if you guys have seen that. If you haven't, you should click on my channel and kind of check that out, because it's a really cool factory. Anyway, enough of my shameless advertisement. We're going to keep moving forward. Alright, so we finished kind of squaring off everything that we need to, and we set up these assemblers up here. Obviously they're not hooked up to anything, but this is kind of where they're going to be. Just kind of the focal point. I don't know if I'm going to put a roof over the top of this, but I did do what I was talking about, which kind of making this little sloped archway. I was having trouble getting the numbers that I wanted without having to kind of lower it, really mess with this a lot. So I just put this little basic wall here to kind of break up the color scheme of it. And if I really wanted to, I could probably switch these around to put another one here. Maybe make this a ramp 1, and then have like a 1 meter gap here, a 1 meter little short wall, and then have the ramp 1 on there. But I don't know exactly how that would look. These are just ramps for right now. Obviously, I don't have any of the cool stuff to afford kind of getting these to be glass, but that would be the ideal situation. And the sides of it are a bit rough. And I'm sure you'll see that once I jump down here. So let me go down here real quick and kind of show you what it looks like. Not really a good angle here. Let me finish these off, and then I'll show you what it's going to look like from maybe my lookout tower up there, where you can kind of get a better idea of how it's going to look. I'm going to be honest, I thought it would look a lot better in my head. I mean, it's fine. It's not great. It definitely needs some work, but the way that I fix this is with stuff that I don't have. So in terms of what I do have, that's probably the best I can do. And we're just gonna put up with it, because that's what you do in the beginning. So we're gonna keep moving forward. So it doesn't look as good as I thought it would, and I was just getting all excited because I came home and I had all these ideas, and I was gonna make this look great. And it just kind of looks like a bread box, honestly. But everything that I could do to fix this and make this look better, which I know how to make it look better, I don't have those pieces right now because I'm still not even at coal production. This is literally the second episode of the series. So we're gonna leave it like this, and we're just gonna say that it looks great, and we're gonna move on because that's really all we can do right now, and just try to finish what we have and make the most of it. So we're gonna keep going, and I'll get all this stuff set up underneath, and I'll show you what you're doing here in a second. Okay, so we're underneath. You kind of see here's all of our ramps that we were seeing from the outside. This is kind of going to be our little transfer area, and I'm getting a little bit set up. So I talked earlier in the video about doing a buffer system for the storage. So obviously I don't even have overflow splitters, which become kind of a bigger problem in itself because I can't create any sort of overflow. So the way that I'm going to kind of counteract that and kind of get around that is by doing these buffer systems here. So this will allow the iron rods to come up here, which I believe I'm making, I want to say 30, and I only need 20 for this. So this should be an extra 10 that should back up this system and allow us to get a crate's worth. This is really just kind of like a beginning starting off thing. It's not something that you want to do, and it's not something that's going to stay here forever. It's just a matter of allowing me to get iron rods and still kind of get things that are still in this system outside of just the end product. So we're going to keep setting this up. I'm going to do this all these lines. I have a screw line here. I have a second screw line because I don't even have Mark IV belts that can hold all these. So I have two separate screw lines, and I'll do the buffer on this one because this is only requiring 100. This is a perfect 120, so I'm probably going to not worry about buffering this. And this is a plate line right here, so we're going to buffer that as well and get those 3 items set up. I'm going to do all that, and I'll show you what that looks like here in a second. Okay, so everything is set up down here. We set up our 3 buffer systems that we were talking about. So we have our screws, our iron rods, and then we have our plates over here. Basically, all I did was I don't even have the floor conveyor holes, so I just put them right through. I took out this foundation, and then I connected them to where they needed to be up here in the assembler, and then I just covered them up just like that. So it's not great, it's not right, but it's going to work. To kind of make these lines a little bit organized, I just flip these going the opposite ways. So you have your screw line right here on the back side, and then you have your other plate line right here with the splitter and the buffer, and it's all right here. It's all nice and organized, and it's all easy access. So this means that everything is set up and it's all connected. It's just a matter of making sure that we get all the wiring done. So we're going to do that real quick. Try to isolate these systems as best we can to make sure that they can be shut off if they need to, and then hopefully, fingers crossed, if everything goes good, we should be able to start this up and make sure all these are running correctly, and then create a storage unit for it. And that's all we really have to do. So let's get started on that. We'll hook up all the wiring, and I will be right back. So we have everything hooked up now, and I did my best to kind of run these along the walls and hide them the best I can. But for some reason, the fixed mix event is still going on, and these are really, really vibrant, and they're kind of making it difficult to hide them. But I don't have wall mounts, so I can't really fix that problem either. But it's all okay. We're starting off, and everything's going great. This is all wired. We're going to hook this up into this power system, kill everything over here, because it's immediately going to shut everything down the moment that I connect this right here. Well, maybe not right away. We're going to let it run for a little bit, and we'll see where it's at. As this kind of gets going, I'm pretty sure this is going to start kicking stuff out fairly quickly. So we're going to give it a minute and see what happens. Alright, here comes our iron. We're just going to be going up to our second level here for all of our smelters. Why is it not connected? Alright, here comes our iron, which is going to be going into our smelters here. Woo! Alright, so here comes our iron ore. This is going to be going up our conveyor belts here, going up to our top, which is where all of our smelters at. So we're going to run around and go check that out. Alright, it's very slowly kind of working all of its way in here. We're still running as of right now, and I think that it's only a matter of time before this all shuts down. So this should be coming out of here. It's going to be making our way over to our iron plate setup right here. This stuff should be coming out and is not connected to where it needs to go. Oh boy. Well, that's not even hooked up to anything. What am I doing here? Okay, so I did end up fixing this, and I did some wonky stuff, and I made it really complicated for no reason. So pretty much it's, I didn't want it to just be a belt all the way across here, so I elevated it, but then this is already at this level, so then I dropped this down, went underneath it, then I had to go over this line, so then I went up over it, and then back down, and then into our splitter here, which is going to break all this stuff up. But while I was doing all that, everything else started to kick on, and I shut the power grid down. Whoa. Ooh. 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 Boy. Okay, we're gonna go turn on like every biomass generator we have, and then we're going to build like 3 more, and hopefully we can get all this running. So let me go do all that. Alright, so we ran over here to our biomass burners. We did to set up quite a few more, and I have used all the biofuel that I have, and we were able to get up to a consumption of 250, which is a lot of biomass burners. With all this set up, this is all running, which means that should be automated up there. So we're gonna do a quick jump, and we're up here. So we're gonna check this out, make sure that we're actually getting the stuff that we need, and we're gonna watch this for a minute and just make sure that this is actually automated and able to keep up, because I got some feelings about it that I'm not 100% sure if this is gonna work out. So we're gonna let it run for a little bit. I do have green lights everywhere, which is a good sign, and this is yellow, which is not a good sign, and probably because of the screws. Yeah. Okay, so I'm gonna just double check the system, make sure everything's working right, and give us some time to kind of get caught up with everything that it needs to be doing, and make sure that we did this all correct. So after we went through and kind of adjusted some things, we discovered a couple of belts that weren't set up properly, but now that we fixed all that, this is running at 100%, which is great, which means for the first time in our world, we have automated assembler parts. Our heavy, or sorry, not our heavy, well, that's way down the line. Our reinforced iron plates and our rotors down there are all being automated, which is a really good start to our world. The only problem is we're running it off of the biofuel, and that means that I have probably about 25 minutes until all this shuts down and comes to a grinding halt. And then I either have to collect, like pretty much probably that whole forest right there just to get going again, or we have one other thing we can do. And that's just to go ahead and send off our smart plating here and go on to phase 2, because honestly, ooh, and that's just to send off our project parts and head on to the next phase, because honestly, we need coal. We need it so bad. I have to automate power. I'm going to go insane, because if I have to deal with this anymore, I'm going to go nuts. So we're going to send this off, and that'll be the end of the video here. I hope you guys enjoyed it. We will be making videos every Thursday. If you hit your like goal of 15 likes by Friday night, I will post a video Saturday morning. All that being said, guys, thank you for everything that you do and all the support that you give. I will see you in a week.